it's Jonathan Bocher and Colin Daniel from riffninja.com. And we wanted to take just a couple minutes here and let you know what we've been working on behind the scenes in our little ninja cave for the last 3 years, I think.
Yeah, our little ninja cave for 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, we know that you guys all love the blues, and Colin has put together the ultimate blues course, and we do mean ultimate. I don't know of any other course on the market that is quite this ultimate, and it's so ultimate, in fact, that we had to break it into 4 stages because it's just it's a bit too big to swallow all in one bite. But we broke it into 4 stages, and the first stage is chords. And you want to tell us briefly about that?
Yeah, I cover a lot of different areas of the chords. There's chord substitution. There's piecing your chords together for songwriting. We've got over 400 chords. Don't sweat it, though. I've got an easy system to learning it. Anybody can learn it. You'll have a huge chord vocabulary and understand how the chords fit together in any key, anywhere on your fretboard. In that process, you learn more about your fretboard too.
Yeah.
All those questions that I got from my students over the years and all the input off the internet has all been put into this course.
And of course, once you know your chords, that's the perfect foundation to move a step further. And we get into stage 2, which is scales.
Yeah, and now we take some of our knowledge from stage 1 into stage 2, because if you don't know what's going on in stage 1, you're not going to get everything that's in stage 2. Although each of these courses you could take separately and learn from them. I've gone through extreme pain to get the details, the little points and details that seem to be missing in most courses. And that's what's special about this, and that's why it took longer. So we get into these scales. I teach you how to cover the entire fretboard. We focus more on the blues scales and their modifications, but there's classical theory that is intertwined with it, so that you're in if you go to a standard theory book that it relates to it, it's not like an offbeat or off the path type of theory at all. It's all standard, but we need to break it down so you understand where those scales are, because there's a lot of misconception about scales. You don't need to know a lot of scales, but you need to know a few really well and then learn to piece them together on the fingerboard. And that's what this stage 2 takes care of. Gets you really familiar with the scales, gives you some techniques on it, teaches you how to move them about and be creative with them too. That's already in that section, and then that gets you ready for the next section.
Yeah, and the next section, of course, you really can't do it justice unless you really have built on chords and then scales. But the next section is all about rhythms and progressions and stuff like that, and wrapping it all together. And that's actually the biggest of the 3 sections. And
it's a big section, and it's the most important section because it's really the section that teaches you how to play. The only issue I have with stage 3 is that if you don't have a really good foundation of chords and you don't understand your scales really well, and you think you do, and you get to section 3, because of the detail I've gone through in that section, and I mean I went through excruciating detail, because in the end I decided that the best way to teach you about the creativity was to show you what I'd actually done. Didn't think about it too much when I recorded those background tracks. I just did them. I did them the way I wanted, the way I heard them in my head, the way I feel like they should sound. And then afterwards I looked at it and went, wow, you know what? They're going to listen to that and go, what the heck did he do there? This is a perfect moment, a perfect time, and a perfect stage to teach people how to be creative. So I actually reversed the procedure and analyzed carefully, bar by bar, what I've done in all 6 of these tracks, so that you could learn from it and see how I use these chords and the ideas that I talk to you about in a creative way.
of course, when people come and say, hey, I want to learn how to play the blues, what they're really talking about usually is, I want to solo like Stevie Ray Vaughan or Jimi Hendrix, right?
Shred master.
And, yeah. And so we know, you guys, that's kind of the end goal in mind, right? But at the same time, you got to know that you're never going to get to that goal without building a proper foundation of stage 1, 2, and 3. But that's what we do in the course. And after you've gotten through stage 3, then we get to stage 4, and that's all about soloing and, building a good lead solo.
The greatest expression a blues guitar player has is his solo. That is his voice in the end. If you're not a singer, that is your voice. That's your only voice, right? So yeah, that's the part where I go into detail, show you how to use the scales. You have to know your progressions really well at that point to understand how I fit those riffs in. For each of the 6 songs, I've gone through at least one, in most cases 2 or 3, 12-bar solos, bar per bar, stretch for stretch, hammer on for hammer on. So you can go at whatever speed you want. There's all kinds of suggestions to approach it. The thing is the whole idea with this is to be able to, at the end, be a good player, be confident, be able to go out to a jam session or jam with your buddies or sit in behind somebody that's singing and playing, and this is what I wanted to develop.
Yeah, be a thorough, complete player.
Yeah, and not just for the blues. I mean, we've leaned this course to the blues, but it would help you in any style of music you wanted to play except for classical.
Yeah, or flamenco. Or
yeah, it doesn't touch on that very much, but pop, country rock, rockabilly, blues, rock and roll, classic rock, any of that stuff.
Blues, of course.
Yeah, you're not going to have a problem with it all. It's a very complete, and you have to be patient with it and take your time.
But if you want to learn how to play guitar, this is going to get you there. So this is Jonathan and Colin, and if you want to get started, the first step is to head over to riffninja.com/blues-chords, and you'll be able to jump on stage 1 and start playing those blues.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for your time.
We'll see you later.